In the dispute between the EU and Poland, Hungary comes to the aid of those. Prime Minister Viktor Orban has drafted a decree intended to show the EU its limits. This could escalate the situation further. The Hungarian government has expressed its support for Poland in the legal dispute with the EU. As government spokesman Bertalan Havasi said on Saturday, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban called on the EU in a decree to respect the limits of the sovereignty of the member states. Orban accuses the EU of depriving the member states of their rights by gradually expanding their powers. The Polish Constitutional Court on Thursday questioned the primacy of EU law over Polish law by declaring several articles in the EU treaties incompatible with the country's constitution. Several governments, including the German federal government, then pledged their support to the EU Commission as guardian of the treaties. After the judgment, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen emphasized EU law takes precedence over national law, including constitutional provisions. In the Hungarian government decree, however, it says the primacy of EU law can only apply in areas in which the European Union is competent. Orban is an ally of the right-wing nationalist Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki. It often crosses over with Brussels on issues such as the rule of law, migration, or the fight against corruption. Hungary is itself subject to criticism for violating EU law. According to reports by the German newspaper Handelsblatt, the rule of law mechanism is to be used against the country, and this could result in subsidy cuts. There were demonstrations in Poland on Saturday. The EU Council President and Polish opposition leader, or the former EU Council President and Polish opposition leader, Donald Tusk, called for the protests. He accuses the National Conservative ruling party PiS of wanting to lead the country out of the EU. Tusk is the acting chairman of Poland's largest opposition party, the liberal conservative Civic Platform. And in that area of Europe, there are some problems for the EU at the moment, and that also includes Belarus. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko is said to be targeted by German authorities. That reported a newspaper on Sunday. It's about the illegal smuggling of refugees. Because more and more migrants are coming to Germany via Belarus, German authorities are apparently investigating Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, according to a German newspaper, as I said. And the newspaper had learned from security sources that the authorities suspected Lukashenko of smuggling migrants. According to figures from the federal police, almost 4,000 refugees have come to Germany via Belarus and Poland since August, and 1,183 in the first week of October alone. Last Friday, according to the report, the federal police found 291 unauthorized entries at the German-Polish border. It was therefore mostly people from Iraq and Syria. Many of them received student visas for Belarus. After arriving in Minsk, according to the newspaper, security forces brought them to Poland's external EU borders. If they succeed in converting, many will travel on to Germany. The background to the currently increasing number of people entering Germany is the refugee dispute with Belarus. Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia have been complaining for a few months about the increased arrival of migrants, especially from the Middle East, on their borders with Belarus. The EU is assuming retaliation by the Belarusian ruler Lukashenko for sanction decisions taken in Brussels. It is believed that the Belarusian authorities are bringing migrants into the country in a targeted manner and smuggling them to the borders with those Eastern EU member states. Well, other parts of Eastern Europe are much nicer in their relationship with the EU and vice versa, because the European Commission has disbursed macro financial assistance of 125 million euros to Bosnia and Herzegovina on behalf of the EU. The payment is made as part of the macro financial aid package of 3 billion euros for the expansion and neighborhood partners, with which they are to be supported in dealing with the economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. Macro financial assistance is provided in the form of loans at very low interest rates. The MFA program is a concrete sign of the EU solidarity with its partners in dealing with the economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. And Paolo Gentiloni, EU Commissioner for Economic Affairs, said about this: the disbursement of 125 million euros in financial support represents an important act of solidarity with the people of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It makes an important contribution to part of the economic and repair the social harm caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. We look forward to working with national authorities in the months ahead to take the necessary policy measures to further strengthen the country's macroeconomic stability. The disbursement of this first tranche was preceded by the ratification of an agreement between the Commission and Bosnia and Herzegovina. The agreement sets out the specific policy measures that Bosnia and Herzegovina must implement in order to improve economic governance, the stability of the financial sector, transparency, and the fight against corruption, and the functioning of the labor market. The disbursement of the second and final tranche of 125 million euros is conditional on the implementation of these political measures. The implementation of these political measures requires close cooperation between the Bosnian and Herzegovinian authorities at all government levels. With the disbursement, the EU has successfully completed 5 of the 10 MFA programs planned as part of COVID-19 macro-financial aid package amounting to 3 billion euros and transferred the first tranche to all partners. The Commission continues to work hand in hand with all of its MFA partners to ensure the, let's say, timely implementation of the agreed programs. Macro-financial assistance is part of the EU's broader engagement with neighborhood and enlargement partners and is intended as a crisis management tool in exceptional situations, and what we have now is one. They can be given to neighborhood and expansion partners who are faced with serious balance of payment difficulties. And in this unprecedented crisis, they show that the EU is in solidarity with these partners and supports effective policies. In the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Commission proposed a macro-financial assistance package for 10 enlargement and neighborhood partners on April 22nd in 2020. On May 25th in 2020, the relevant decision was adopted by the European Parliament and also the Council. In addition to macro-financial assistance, the EU provides support to partners under its neighborhood policy and in the Western Balkans through various other instruments, in particular through humanitarian aid, budget support, thematic programs, technical assistance, blending facilities, and guarantees from the European Fund for Sustainable Development to promote investment in the sectors hardest hit by the corona crisis. In addition to the planned MFA loan of 250 million euros, the EU has already granted Bosnia and Herzegovina grants of 95 million euros to help the country fight the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to providing 13.7 million euros in an EU for Health grant for vaccines, the EU has also provided 7.76 million to meet medical needs, with over 6 million items of personal protective equipment, 66 ventilators, 75 ECG monitors, 20 portable ultrasound machines and other equipment. 73.5 million euros has been committed to support the socio-economic recovery. The constant supply of EU-funded vaccines is also a concrete sign of EU solidarity. Bosnia and Herzegovina has received a total of almost 1.3 million doses of vaccine from the EU and, of course, their member states. Bosnia and Herzegovina is also called upon to join the EU's digital COVID certificate system. And those certificates, nobody here has problems with it. Here in Italy and other countries, there is a little bit of a problem. The first projects to benefit from a program driving investment in low-carbon infrastructure has also been announced this week. Coming from 5 different local authority areas, the Pathfinder projects, part of the Green Growth Accelerator program, range from the development of hydrogen hubs to the restoration of peatland and energy efficiency upgrades of buildings. This time we're talking of Scotland though. The Scottish Government will provide up to £1 million to support the Pathfinders through the development phase of the programme, which together could unlock 40 million of local government investment in green infrastructure, backed by long-term Scottish Government funding commitments. Future funding commitments will be based on the achievement of project outcomes, including carbon emissions reductions and green economy opportunities. The Green Growth Accelerator program, developed with the support of the Scottish Futures Trust, was launched to provide a catalyst for public and private investment in low-carbon infrastructure projects and those projects across Scotland. The Scottish Government will work with COSLA and local authorities to learn from the Pathfinders ahead of a further rollout of the programme in 2022 and 2023, with an ultimate aim to unlock £200 million of low-carbon capital investment, underpinned by government funding. Just Transition Minister Richard Lockhead said about this, Scotland's just transition to a net zero economy must involve bold, ambitious and collective action to deliver emissions reduction and climate resilience, whilst doing so in a way that is fair for everyone and leaves no one behind. The Green Growth Accelerator illustrates how, working collaboratively across government, business and communities, we can capitalize on the economic, environmental and social benefits that our journey to net zero are presented by. The Pathfinder projects have real potential to deliver lasting and long-term benefits for local communities, and I look forward to them progressing and in doing so, testing and demonstrating how we can continue to work together to accelerate vital investment in green infrastructure. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.